The other section sidesteps the legal process entirely. Rather, the Secretary of State would be able to deny passports to people whom they determine, quote, has knowingly aided, abetted, assisted, abetted, or otherwise provided material support to an organization the Secretary has designated a foreign terrorist organization. You know, this Secretary of State, the one who's taken over $1 million from APEC. I mean, this bill is 100% cracking down, essentially an American gag order on criticism of Israel, Israeli government, Israeli genocide of Palestinians, which is ongoing. You want to see what real independent journalism funded by the people for the people looks like?
You ever heard a story like this in America?
You're looking at it.
Congratulations for always being somewhere where mainstream media is not.
Flint, Michigan.
See you in Nevada.
Thanks to people like you, we can get the truth. Corporate media, they've been lying to us for years, and you go straight to the people.
You are the man. I'm glad you're here.
For as low as 16 cents a day, you'll keep us on the ground, covering the important stories the corporate media covers up. Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup. The Trump administration is all but declaring us the United States of Israel, with a alarming new bill that would revoke the passports or deny passports to those who support terrorist groups, i.e. to those who condemn Israeli genocide on the Palestinians. That's what this is, full stop. It's truly, truly incredible that some leftist YouTubers once upon a time were calling Trump and Republicans the party of free speech. Let me give you the details here. New bill would give Marco Rubio thought police power to revoke U.S. passports. This from The Intercept. Rubio has already sought to punish immigrants for speech. New legislation might let him do it for U.S. citizens. In March, Secretary of State Rubio stripped Turkish doctoral student Rümeysa Öztürk of her visa based on what a court later found was nothing more than her opinion piece critical of Israel. Now a bill introduced by the chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee is ringing alarm bells for civil liberties advocates who say it would grant Rubio the power to revoke the passports of American citizens on similar grounds. The provision, sponsored by Congressman Brian Mast as part of a larger State Department reorganization, is set for a hearing Wednesday. Mast's legislation says that it takes aim at, quote, terrorists and traffickers, but critics say it could be used to deny American citizens the right to travel based solely on their speech. Seth Stern, director of advocacy at Freedom of the Press Foundation, said the bill would open the door to, quote, thought policing at the hands of one individual. Quote, Marco Rubio has claimed the power to designate people terrorist supporters based solely on what they think and say, Stern said. Quote, even if what they say doesn't include a word about a terrorist organization or terrorism. Mast, for his part, has publicly voiced his support for, quote, kicking terrorist sympathizers out of our country. At the time, he was talking about deporting Mahmoud Khalil, a Palestinian green card holder who the Trump administration detained and attempted to deport based on what critics of the move said were his pro-Palestine views. Mast's new bill claims to target a narrow set of people. One section grants the Secretary of State the power to revoke or refuse to issue passports for people who have been convicted or merely charged of material support for terrorism. Kia Hamadanchi, a senior policy counsel at the ACLU, said that the language would accomplish little in practice since terror convictions come with stiff prison sentences and pretrial defendants are typically denied bail. The other section sidesteps the legal process entirely. Rather, the Secretary of State would be able to deny passports to people whom they determine, quote, has knowingly aided, abetted, assisted, abetted, or otherwise provided material support to an organization the Secretary has designated a foreign terrorist organization. You know, this Secretary of State, the one who's taken over $1 million from APEC, he is the new thought police in America. Party of free speech, folks. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. And this is, I mean, to be clear, this bill is about Israel. I mean, this bill is 100% cracking down, essentially an American gag order on criticism of Israel, Israeli government, Israeli genocide of Palestinians, which is ongoing at this point. I mean, numbers are all over the place. I'd put it at over 200,000 Palestinians dead. Carnage every day. We'll get to it later, but there's a new piece in Haaretz, an Israeli newspaper, where IDF soldiers are openly kind of bragging about killing children. It's just vile. But hey, I could have my passport revoked for saying that. I mean, this goes way beyond kind of nanny state, authoritarian crackdown to just full on. This is what dictators do. This is how dictatorships work. Just full crackdown, full gag order on dissent, even like minor dissent. Let me continue here. The reference to, quote, material support disturbed advocates who have long warned that the government could misuse statutes criminalizing, quote, material support for terrorists, first passed after the 1995 Oklahoma City Federal Building bombing and toughened after the 9/11 attacks to punish speech. Some of those fears have been borne out. The Supreme Court ruled in 2010 that even offering advice about international law to designated terror groups could be classified as material support. To be clear, this ain't about saying anything that could be allude to supporting terrorist groups. Hell, if you're at a protest and somebody has a Hezbollah or Hamas flag and you're a little too close to them or even in the vicinity, you could be technically accused under this bill of supporting a terror group. Status Coup has led the charge of all news outlets in America, mainstream or independent. We have covered at this point, when I say we, our incredible cameraman, John Farina, has covered nearly 200 anti-genocide, pro-Palestinian protests in New York City, in Washington, D.C., in Chicago, in Los Angeles, all over this country over about 2 years. And a lot of the people we spoke to under this bill potentially could have their U.S. passports revoked. Let's just show you one of them. Let me know. You think she's supporting terrorism? Well, Marco Rubio might say yes.
I'm a Jew. My grandfather and my uncle and other family members were killed in the Holocaust. I know what genocide is. I know how it tears families apart and how awful it is. And as a Jew, as a proud Jew, I stand with the Palestinian people against Israeli crimes.
And what would be your message to Biden, who's here today at this fundraiser?
Ceasefire now. Stop all funding to Israel. Free Palestine.
I'm very proud, as a Jew and an anti-Zionist, that these kinds of demonstrations are ongoing. And I hope they won't stop, because there's genocide in Gaza, subsidized by U.S. taxpayer money, on behalf of a fanatical, almost fascistic sect in Tel Aviv that doesn't care about Palestinian life and is hell-bent on destroying Palestine. Not just Gaza. They want to get rid of Palestinians. And they called it Judenrein in Germany, throwing out the Jews from Germany. But now we quote unquote have turned it around. We're throwing out the Palestinians.
Get out of here, Marco Rubio says. Revoke their passports. You know, that Jewish woman who's wearing a keffiyeh, is she supporting a terrorist group? I want to show you another one. I'm very proud of our coverage. We have put a lot of time and resources into covering these protests, way more than most other outlets, even when it has become, when the country has become numb to it, even when it has done, frankly, less strong for us in terms of views. We have felt it important to stay out there. Under this new bill, might have to get rid of these folks too, right?
The Zionist lobby is strong in America. The Zionist lobby is really strong in America, and if you're an American that cares about the United States of America, you would be worried. Why is Israel the only country on planet Earth that the United States of America unconditionally supports? I challenge one person, one pundit, one Israeli Knesset member, one U.S. congressman or woman to find another country that we unconditionally support. Why do we unconditionally support Israel?
The world has to wake up, and America has to wake up. Listen, we cannot be part of genocide, of killing women and children and babies. Have some mercy, have some soul. You know, how can you sleep at night thinking about it, that your tax dollar are responsible of killing innocent children just because AIPAC controlled this country? Wake up, America. Wake up. For God's sake, wake up. The whole world is screaming.
They have tried to silence us. They have tried to stop us, not only this week with this encampment, but over the past few months. They have denied us. They have denied our rights on this campus. But it's a reminder to the people all over this world, a reminder to the Gazans, a reminder to all Palestinians, we will not be stopped. As of 2:30 today, our Student Government Association has passed our proposal for divestment. It is now up to administration.
By all of this, Joe Biden and people within CUNY, people within positions of power have been unable to basically stop funding Israel, which is a pretty simple ask that we've been asking in these encampments, we've been asking right now, and we've been asking before. It's just that, you know, they're escalating, so we have to escalate. People are dying, so we have to keep escalating. And we're doing so by peacefully protesting, and as you can see. And despite that, we have counterterrorism show up, we have SRG showing up, and we don't understand why there is such a militarized response to people holding up signs and people chanting things like intifada or revolution, which is one of the most American things that you can chant in this country.
Under this bill, that fine gentleman might be getting his walking papers, or at least have his passport revoked for what they would say praising intifada. I don't really care if you're on the left, the right, you know, you're conservative, liberal, libertarian. If you actually have a core ideology of free speech, even speech you don't agree with, I mean, this is an attack on what America is supposed to stand for. Not that we really have free speech. I mean, I've been covering protests around the country for about a decade. Yeah, they'll let you protest, but if you get a little too loud, you know, if you get a little too rowdy, yeah, they'll use their police force, they, meaning the corporations, to crack your head in. Crack skulls, bloody you, tear gas, pepper spray, rubber bullets, freezing water. I mean, you name it. Pepper balls. The bills basically are being written by AIPAC in America under a president that many on the left lied to say was anti-war and somehow isolationist. Trump is in the pocket of Israel, more specifically Miriam Adelson, who gave him over $100 million to reelect him. We'll stay on this.